The universe doesn't send you a calendar invite before your life changes. It sends you silence, strange coincidences, and the urge to let go of everything safe. It doesn't shout. It doesn't announce itself with flashing lights or grand declarations. It slips in quietly, rearranging the furniture of your reality while you're still looking the other way. One morning, you wake up, and the routines that once felt comforting now feel hollow. The conversations you used to crave feel strangely empty. The goals you were chasing with all your heart suddenly have no taste, and at first you think something's wrong with you, because the mind has been conditioned to believe that progress means movement, that growth means constant doing, that success comes from never stopping. But in truth, this quiet you're feeling is not a breakdown. It's not apathy. It's a signal, a quantum signal, that your life is about to shift in ways your conscious mind cannot yet measure. Before every great leap, there is a recalibration, and that recalibration can feel like emptiness, because the old frequency is dying, and the new one is still being born. Most people miss this moment. They feel the stillness, and they panic. They rush to fill the space with noise, with old habits, with busy work, with anything that will make them feel in control again. But control is not what this moment is asking for. This is not a season for forcing. This is a season for listening. If you look closely, you'll notice the clues. A sudden drop in your appetite for things, that a strange disconnection from people you thought you'd never outgrow. An inner pull, soft but unshakable, to clear out your space, to let go of possessions, to cancel plans without explanation. These are not random mood swings. They are signs, quantum signs, that your inner frequency is shifting faster than your outer reality can keep up. In quantum mechanics, before an electron jumps to a higher state, it hovers in a period of uncertainty, a superposition. It holds every possibility until the moment comes to collapse into the one it's aligned with. That's where you are right now, suspended between timelines. One foot in the life you've known, and one foot in the life that's already calling you. And here's the thing. If you can resist the urge to fix this moment, if you can stop running back to the comfort of the old, just because it's familiar, you will feel the subtle current, the pull of the new timeline drawing you in quietly, inevitably. In the quantum world, change doesn't start with visible proof. It starts in the unseen, in the field of pure potential. Physicists call it the quantum field. Mystics call it the infinite. But the truth is the same. It's the space where every possible version of your life already exists. When your higher self decides it's time to move, your energy blueprint begins to change first. The patterns, the thoughts, the emotional signatures you've carried for years, they start to dissolve. Not because you're failing, but because they no longer match the frequency of where you're going. Think of it like tuning a radio. You can't play the song of your new reality while broadcasting on the old station. The static you feel right now, the awkward pauses, the emptiness, the disconnection, is simply your system retuning. And here's the part the mind struggles with. Your conscious brain wants evidence. It wants to see the new reality before it believes in it. But the quantum field doesn't work that way. It responds to vibration, not proof. It responds to who you are being, not to what you're demanding. That's why this stage is so sacred. It's the fertile darkness before the sprout breaks the soil. It's the silence before the music begins. It's the moment when your soul, and the universe are rearranging the unseen architecture of your life, so that when the leap comes, it's not a struggle, it's a lock. In right before you shift, your emotions may start to feel like a storm. One moment you're buzzing with excitement, certain something extraordinary is about to happen. The next doubt slides in, whispering that maybe you imagined it all. This isn't instability, it's a signal. Your energy is flickering between two realities, the one you've lived in and the one you're stepping into. Your hope belongs to the new timeline. Your fear belongs to the old, and in this space between, both are still present. In neuroscience, the brain is constantly running predictions based on past patterns. Even when your higher self is pulling you toward a new life, your subconscious is still clinging to the old blueprint, because familiar feels safe. This is where emotional mastery becomes everything. If you see fear as a warning, you'll run back to what you know. If you see fear as evidence that your system is adjusting to a higher altitude, you'll breathe through it and keep moving forward. Think of it like turbulence on a flight. The bumps don't mean the plane is falling. They mean you're moving through layers of atmosphere that require adjustment. And every breath you take without panicking tells your body, your mind, and the field itself, I'm ready for the new altitude. Every leap has a threshold, and just before you cross it, the old world will make one last attempt to keep you. Not because it's malicious, but because your subconscious is running its final diagnostic, checking if the old identity still fits. You might see patterns you thought you outgrew suddenly reappear, the same argument you had years ago, replaying with someone new. The same money problem, the same insecurity, the same temptation to shrink back into who you used to be. And your first thought might be, why is this happening again? But here's the truth. It's not a punishment. It's a mirror. It's life giving you a chance to consciously choose the response that belongs to your new reality. In quantum terms, until you make that choice, both versions of you exist. The one who reacts from fear and the one who responds from alignment. The moment you choose from alignment, the old probability wave collapses. The old you stops broadcasting into the field, and the new you becomes the only signal the universe can respond to. This is why these tests feel so charged, because they are the ceremonial crossing. The door will open, but it will only let through the version of you who matches the frequency on the other side. Meet scarcity with gratitude. Meet anger with presence. Meet doubt with unshakable trust. And you won't just be ready for the leap. You'll already be living it. When the leap finally happens, it won't be loud. It won't arrive with fireworks or a parade. It will slip in so quietly. You might miss it if you're looking for drama. One morning you'll wake up and notice the fear you carried for years is simply gone. The problem you obsessed over feels irrelevant. The conversation that would have triggered you last month barely stirs your heart rate, and you might even think, was that it? Because the shift doesn't feel like a battle won. It feels like breathing. It feels like home. In quantum physics, when an electron jumps to a higher orbit, it happens instantaneously. One moment, it's here. The next, it's somewhere completely new. There's no in-between. That's exactly how the integration of your the old frequency drops away so completely. You can't even remember why it ever felt like home. Your brain stops firing the old neural patterns and starts hardwiring the new ones. You no longer have to try to think differently. It's simply who you are now. This is the moment many people make a mistake. They poke the field. They overthink, over-visualize, over-check, to make sure the shift is real. But the truth is, the more you test it, the more you pull yourself back toward the old frequency. Your job now is simple. Live here, breathe here. Make this new frequency your normal. Once you've arrived, the work changes. You're no longer chasing the leap. You're stabilizing it. And stability in the quantum field isn't about control. It's about coherence. Coherence means your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, and your energy are all telling the same story. Not just sometimes, but consistently. Because the field doesn't respond to what you want, it mirrors what you are. This is where embodiment becomes everything. Every choice you make, every word you speak, every boundary you hold is casting a vote for the reality you want to live in. And those votes accumulate until the frequency of your new self becomes unshakable. The danger now is subtle. It's the temptation to slip back into old patterns when life gets quiet. To go back to over-efforting, to test if the universe is still listening. But testing is mistrust, and mistrust cracks the coherence you've built. Instead, this is the time to deepen your alignment. Wake up each day and ask, how would the version of me in this timeline live today? Then live it, not as a performance, not as a ritual of hope, but as your default state, because the longer you hold this frequency without splintering back into the old one, the more the universe weaves it into every corner of your reality, until it's no longer manifestation. There comes a point. Once your frequency is stable, when reality starts moving faster than you ever thought possible, opportunities seem to appear out of nowhere. People show up in perfect timing. The exact resources you need land in your lap without you forcing them. To the untrained eye, it looks like coincidence. But you know better. This is coherence in motion. This is the quantum field aligning external reality with the internal signal you've been broadcasting without break. And here's what's wild. The speed can feel disorienting. You might go months or years feeling like nothing is happening. Then suddenly, 3 breakthroughs happen in the same week. Why? Because alignment works like compound interest. Every small act of coherence you've been stacking suddenly matures at once. The key here is not to let the acceleration throw you off balance. Rapid change, even when it's good, can trigger the old urge to control or overanalyze. But remember, the universe isn't suddenly helping you. It's been building this path behind the scenes the whole time. And now, you're finally clear enough to walk it without resistance. So when things start to speed up, don't question it. Don't slow yourself down by thinking you have to deserve it. The universe isn't rewarding you. It's simply reflecting you. Not every shift is lost because of a major setback. Most are undone quietly, slowly, almost invisibly. And the most dangerous saboteur. It's not other people. It's not the universe. It's the subtle pull of your old identity. It starts small. One harmless thought. Maybe I should check if this is one small compromise. Answering that message you know belongs to the old version of you. One tiny decision to, just for now, slip back into an old habit because it feels easier in the moment. And here's the truth. Every time you entertain those returns to your past frequency, you weaken the signal you've been broadcasting. It's like trying to tune into one radio station while still sending out static from another. This is why awareness is everything. You have to notice the moments when you're not just making a choice. You're making a frequency shift, because the quantum field doesn't see your actions as isolated events. It reads the energy behind them. So guard your signal, not from fear, but from clarity. Protect the way you think, the way you speak, the way you respond, as if every moment is casting a vote for the reality you're choosing to live in. Because it is, and if you hold that awareness, those subtle sabotages lose their power. The old timeline fades. The pull weakens, and your leap becomes irreversible. The goal of all this isn't to stay in constant manifestation mode. It's to make the frequency of your new self so natural that it doesn't feel like something you do. It feels like something you are. When you first step into a higher timeline, it can feel like you're rehearsing. You're more intentional with your thoughts. You pay closer attention to your words. You pause before reacting. And all of that is necessary in the beginning. But over time, something shifts. The pauses become automatic. The higher choices become instinct. And one day, without even realizing it, you're no longer trying to live in your new frequency. You simply are. This is where the real magic lives, because when alignment becomes your default state, you're no longer chasing signs or measuring progress. Life flows. Opportunities match you without effort. Your relationships start reflecting the energy you've been holding all along. And here's the beauty of it. Once it's natural, it's stable. You don't have to wake up and maintain it because your identity has already fused with it. You are the frequency. You are the reality. That's when manifestation stops being something you practice and starts being the way you exist. When you anchor into a new frequency, nothing in your life remains untouched. It doesn't just change your mood, it changes the architecture of your reality. Relationships begin to reorganize themselves. Some people naturally drift away, not because there's conflict, but because their energy no longer matches yours. Others appear seemingly out of nowhere, aligned, resonant, and carrying exactly the keys you need for your next chapter. Your work shifts. The projects that once drained you no longer have a place. Opportunities that match your values start arriving without you hunting them down. It's not luck, it's resonance. Your health responds. The tension your body held for years begins to release. The habits you struggled to force suddenly become effortless because they align with who you are now, not with who you were forcing yourself to be. Even your sense of purpose changes shape. You stop obsessing over finding it and realize you've been living it in every choice that aligns with your highest self. Change your core frequency, and everything else reorganizes itself to match. Not because you pushed, but because you became the version of you who no longer needs to. The truth is, not everyone makes the leap. Not because the universe is selective, but because most people can't sit through the stillness long enough for the shift to lock in. They feel the quiet and label it failure. They meet the void and fill it with distractions. They touch the edge of transformation and then run back to the comfort of what they've outgrown. The almost there stage is where dreams go to die. Not because the path isn't working, but because the person stops trusting it. This is the moment where the old timeline feels heavy. But the new one isn't yet visible. It's the space between breaths, the space where faith is forged. And here's the secret. The leap doesn't happen when you've gathered enough proof. It happens when you stop needing proof, when you can live as if the new reality is inevitable, even when nothing in your current world is confirming it yet. That's the point where the field responds instantly. Because in that moment, you're no longer negotiating with the old frequency. You're embodying the new one completely. A quantum leap isn't just an idea your mind accepts. It's a frequency your body has to hold. And if your nervous system isn't prepared, it will pull you back to the old timeline, no matter how much you believe in the new one. Your body is wired for survival, not expansion. It's built to keep you safe by keeping you familiar. So when you step into a higher frequency, your system interprets it as unknown territory, and unknown often feels like danger. That's why you need to train your body to feel safe in the new vibration. Slow your breathing until your heartbeat finds its rhythm. Let your shoulders drop. Unclench your jaw, soften your belly. Feel what it's like to hold that relaxed state while imagining the reality you're stepping into, because if your body feels unsafe, it will override your mind's intentions. But when your body feels safe, the new frequency can root itself so deeply that it stops being something you visit in meditation. It becomes the space you live in. This is the hidden work. It's not just mindset, it's embodiment. When your mind and your nervous system both agree that the new reality is safe, the universe doesn't have to deliver it to you. You're already there. A leap sounds dramatic, but in reality, it's built from the smallest choices you make each day. Not the big movie-worthy moments, but the micro-decisions that either strengthen or every time you choose the thought that expands you instead of the one that contracts you, you cast a vote for the new reality. Every time you say no to the invitation that pulls you backward, you tighten your alignment. Every time you speak about your life as if what you desire is already real, you send a clear, steady signal into the field. People underestimate these micro moments because they don't look powerful. But in quantum terms, each choice carries the same frequency weight. It's not about the size of the action. It's about the energy behind it. Think of it like tuning an instrument. You don't strike it once and expect it to stay perfect forever. You make tiny adjustments over and over until the sound is pure. That's what your micro-decisions are. Constant, subtle refinements that keep you in resonance. Ignore them, and your signal drifts. Honor them, and your leap becomes inevitable. There's a reason the pressure feels heavier just before you cross into your new reality. The old timeline senses it's losing you, and it will throw its loudest, most convincing illusions at you in a final attempt to pull you back. Opportunities will appear that look tempting, but deep down, you'll know they belong to the past version of you. Old fears you thought were gone may flare up suddenly, sharper than before. Even people from your history might re-enter your life, carrying the same dynamics you've already outgrown. This isn't the universe testing you out of cruelty. It's your energy field flushing out the last fragments of your old resonance. And because those fragments are about to dissolve forever, they kick up the most noise right before they disappear. Think of it like the last few seconds of a storm. The wind can roar hardest just before the skies clear. If you mistake that roar for a warning to turn back, you'll delay your leap. If you recognize it for what it is, the final clearing, you'll hold steady, knowing that the noise is proof you're almost through. In this stage, your greatest power is refusal. Refusal to settle for the almost right. Refusal to entertain the nearly aligned. Refusal to step back into a version of yourself, because the moment you stop feeding the old frequency, it loses all power over you. When the old frequency finally releases, the shift is instant. There's no slow fade, no gradual blending. One moment, you're straddling two worlds, and the next, the old one is gone. Like a radio station you can no longer tune into, no matter how hard you try. This is the collapse. In quantum terms, it's when the probability wave of your old reality disappears, and only the signal of your chosen reality remains. It's the point where the field doesn't need to send anything to you. It simply mirrors the vibration you've locked into without hesitation. And here's what surprises most people. It often feels normal, almost too normal, because when you've been aligning with this version of yourself for so long, stepping into it feels like slipping into clothes that fit perfectly. No struggle, no forcing, just a deep, quiet yes. From the outside, others might not notice the exact moment it happens. The mental tug of war is over. The emotional flicker between timelines has stopped. You are here, fully, completely, without splintering your attention back to what was. And once you've collapsed into the new timeline, the old one isn't just behind you, it's inaccessible. It's a door that no longer exists. Arriving is only the beginning, because once you've crossed into your new reality, the question becomes, can you hold it? Not for a day, not until the first challenge shows up, but as your permanent state of being. An unshakable identity is built the same way the leap was made, through alignment. Every choice, every reaction, every belief you reinforce is a thread that either strengthens or weakens the fabric of your new self. You have to live in a way that leaves no room for the old frequency to creep back in. That means speaking about your life from the perspective of already being here. It means filtering opportunities, relationships, and decisions through the question, does this match the version of me I've become? And here's the paradox. The stronger your identity, the less you need to defend it. You won't feel the urge to prove it to others, or to convince yourself that it's still working. It will simply, this is when the external stops mattering so much, because your reality is no longer fragile. It's no longer dependent on conditions lining up perfectly. It's anchored inside you, and nothing outside of you can shake it loose. When you've built that kind of identity, the universe doesn't have to test you anymore. It can trust you to hold the frequency, no matter what. The quantum field doesn't reward speed, it rewards stability. Because you don't manifest what you visit, you manifest what you live in. When your vibration holds steady, the field begins to reorganize itself around you in ways you could never script. Opportunities that used to take months now arrive in days. Conversations open doors you didn't even know existed. The impossible starts to feel inevitable. Why? Because stability sends the clearest signal possible. This is who I am now. Not who I'm trying to be, not who I'm hoping to become. Who I already am. The field reads, and once it recognizes you as a fixed point in that frequency, it builds reality around you to match. Not once, but over and over again, compounding your results. This is why chasing, forcing, or checking for signs slows everything down. It tells the field you're not anchored yet, that you're still negotiating with the old timeline. Hold your signal long enough, without splintering, without rushing, and the field stops questioning. It simply delivers because you've already become. Stability isn't just about willpower. It's about wiring your subconscious to see the new reality as normal. Because if your subconscious still sees it as unfamiliar, it will constantly try to pull you back to what it knows. The subconscious mind speaks in repetition, emotion, and imagery, not in logic. So you can't simply tell it that you've changed. You have to show it over and over until it stops questioning. This means living your new reality in micro ways every single day. Walk like the version of you who's already here. Speak from their truth. Decide, as if the outcome is already certain. Feel the gratitude you'd have after it happened right now. When you repeat this consistently, the subconscious stops flagging your new reality as unsafe or impossible. It starts filing it under normal. And once it's normal, it's effortless. That's when you wake up one morning and realize you're not holding the frequency anymore. You are the frequency. It's no longer something you practice. It's the ground you walk on. From there, reality can only do one thing: match you. Every leap eventually becomes your new baseline. And when it does, the universe will whisper again. A new nudge, a bigger vision, a deeper calling that asks you to stretch beyond what now feels comfortable. This is the cycle expansion, not a one-time event, but an ongoing spiral, each turn lifting you higher than the last. And just like before, the signs will start small. A quiet restlessness. A sense that something in your current reality no longer fits, even though it once felt perfect. New opportunities that feel. Here's the mistake most people make. They resist the next leap because they worked so hard to stabilize this one. They confuse comfort with completion. But the truth is, comfort is just the signal that you've mastered your current frequency, and it's time to grow again. When that call comes, you'll face the same choice you had before: cling to the known, or step into the unknown with trust. The difference now: you've already done it once. You know the patterns. You know the stillness isn't stagnation. The turbulence isn't danger. And the final test is never punishment. You've learned how the field works, and this time, you can leap without hesitation. A quantum leap is not a finish line. It's a doorway. Step through one, and you'll see another waiting in the distance. Not because you're chasing endlessly, but because consciousness is infinite, and there's always another level to explore. Each leap feels different. Some arrive like lightning, a sudden download, a fast shift, an overnight transformation. Others unfold like dawn, gradual, gentle, almost invisible, until you realize the light has completely changed. And with each leap, your capacity expands, your trust deepens, your identity grows stronger, not because you cling to who you've become, but because you know you can become even more. There's no ceiling in this work, no final version of you to reach. The field will keep offering you higher frequencies, broader perspectives, richer experiences, for as long as you're willing to say yes. And the beautiful part is, the more leaps you take, the less resistance you feel. Fear becomes a signal of growth, not danger. Uncertainty becomes the language of possibility, and the unknown stops being something to survive and starts being the space where you feel most alive. This is the infinite nature of quantum leaps. They're not about chasing a better life. They're about discovering the limitless life that's been waiting for you all along, When you've embodied a frequency long enough, you stop having to speak your desires. You radiate them. Your presence becomes a transmission, a signal the world can't help but respond to. People will tell you they feel different around you, though they can't explain why. Opportunities will seem to find you without effort. Even your environment will start mirroring your inner state, like reality itself is leaning in to listen. This is because you're no longer asking for alignment. You are alignment. Your thoughts, emotions, body language, and energy are telling this, and the quantum field reads that story with perfect clarity. Here's the thing. You don't have to push this signal onto anyone. You don't have to convince, prove, or explain. Simply being in coherence influences everything around you. It's like tuning a powerful instrument. Other frequencies naturally adjust to match. This is how you start shaping reality without trying. Because you're no longer just manifesting outcomes, you're shifting the vibration of the space you occupy, and everything inside it responds. At this level, manifestation isn't a practice. It's an atmosphere. When your presence shapes reality, power becomes unavoidable. Not the loud kind that demands attention, but the quiet kind that moves things without force. And with that power comes responsibility, because the field doesn't just respond to what you intend, it responds to what you are. If your vibration is clear, if it's clouded with ego, fear, or manipulation, it distorts the signal and the results that follow. This is why integrity matters more than ever at this stage. Your thoughts ripple. Your words plant seeds in the field. Your energy becomes a blueprint that others unconsciously read. So you must hold your frequency with awareness, not from pressure or perfectionism, but from a deep commitment to stay aligned with truth, love, and clarity. Because the more stable and pure your signal, the more the field can amplify it without resistance. At this level, manifestation is no longer just about creating for yourself. It's about shaping the reality of everyone who steps into your orbit. Expansion isn't supposed to drain you. If it does, you're pushing, not aligning. Because true growth in the quantum field doesn't come from force. It comes from resonance. When you operate from alignment, energy flows through you. It doesn't deplete you. Ideas arrive without strain. Opportunities show up without. Even challenges feel lighter, because you meet them from a place of resourcefulness rather than desperation. The key to sustaining expansion is pacing yourself in harmony with the frequency you're holding. If you try to outrun your alignment, you'll burn out. If you anchor in the present, each step will feel supported by something bigger than you. This means building rituals that feed your energy instead of just managing your time. Moments of stillness to recalibrate. Breathwork to reset your nervous system. Gratitude to keep your signal clean. Because when you're nourished at the energetic level, your expansion doesn't come in bursts you have to recover from. It becomes a steady rhythm, one you can carry for a lifetime. Your frequency doesn't end with you. Every choice you make, every emotion you stabilize, every thought you anchor, leaves an imprint in the field. That imprint ripples outward, touching people you'll never meet, influencing events you'll never see, shaping possibilities for generations to come. Legacy isn't just the work you create or the money you leave behind. It's the energy you've contributed to the collective, the kindness you've embodied, the truth you've stood for, the vibration you've held, even when it would have been easier to collapse back into the familiar. And here's the most beautiful part. You don't have to try to leave this legacy. By living in alignment, by becoming the fullest expression of who you are, your very existence becomes a transmission of what's possible. Long after you're gone, the frequency you've stabilized will still be humming in the field, inviting others to rise. If you've felt the pull while listening, if you've recognized the signs of your own leap in these words, then this moment isn't an accident. The field brought you here because you're ready to cross your next threshold. So here's what I want you to do. Anchor that decision right now. Type in the comments, "I'm ready for my leap." Let that be your signal to the universe and to yourself that you're done negotiating with the old timeline. And if you want more guidance like this, more tools, more deep dives into the mechanics of quantum change, then don't just close this video and move on. Like it. Subscribe so you never miss the next shift we explore. Share it with someone who's standing on the edge of their own leap. Because the more of us who hold this frequency together, the stronger the field becomes for everyone. Your leap is waiting. Step through.